Okay, welcome back, everyone. Family night here on DSPGaming. It's actually, I forgot to say this in part one. It's January 17, 2024. I should have dated it, and I didn't. We're back. We took a little break, stretched our legs, used the restroom, refreshed our drinks, and now we're back for another hour. Again, whatever you guys want to talk about. Right now, no contributions to shout out. We caught up. So if you want to tag us in the chat, great. If anything comes in, great. If we do run out of things to talk about, we do have some questions that were saved up in a thread, and we can access that as well. Cap Kirby says, what are our favorite animes? We answered that last week, too. Like, basically, we don't have favorite animes. We don't watch anime that often. When I was growing up, it was always Dragon Ball was the big one, Dragon Ball Z, but we don't actively watch anime, right? You don't have a particular favorite, right? Okay. Did you ever play any Dead Rising game? I think you did, right? Which one did you play?
I played 3 and 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you think about them?
They were all right.
Yeah.
They're mess around games.
Right.
You know.
They're not meant to be too serious.
No.
Just kill a bunch of zombies.
Yeah.
Right? So you're not crazy for it. You're not
4 was like too easy.
Yes.
It had like no challenge to it. It was just, it was like, what is this game?
I agree. What's hilarious about that is that series started off as a very difficult series. Dead Rising 1 and 2 are very tough games. And then 3 kind of went middle of the road. And then 4 completely went in the opposite direction and went way too easy, in my opinion. I agree with you there. Okay. Spidey, we've answered this question a million times. No, we don't go on walks. We don't go on hikes. We don't have time. Our day off consists of 80% running errands. And by the time you're done running errands all day, all you want to do is go home and relax, right? Like tomorrow, no exaggeration, we're going to be doing grocery shopping. We got to go drive somewhere for an appointment. We got a bunch of things we need to catch up. We need to stock up on the house, right, that we're out of. By the time we're done with all of that, we're exhausted already. We don't want to go on a hike, So, no, we don't do that kind of stuff. Pizza Box Gaming. Good evening. Thank you for the super chat. He said, I'm happy to be here tonight. I had a rough league game tonight. I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully you will recover. Hopefully it's not irreparable damage if it was rough. And thank you for the super chat. Pizza Box Gaming. Appreciate that. Let's see here. Sarah says, what don't you like about my job? That's an interesting question, I feel. What particularly do you dislike about what I do for a living?
I would just say it's time consuming. There's nothing I really dislike about it. I think it's good. Everything else is good about it, but it's time consuming.
So let me get this straight. You don't think that you would like me to be in here for 6 days a week full time, and we only get 1 day a week to do stuff?
Obviously not, but...
Right, exactly. No, I agree with you. I don't want to be in here 6 days a week. It just happens that's how much I have to work to make ends meet, pay the bills, and do everything. What are you going to do? Do you at all like Grand Theft Auto or Saints Row? Do you like those franchises at all?
Saints Row is kind of... I don't really like Saints Row. GTA's all right. It depends which one. Like, I think San Andreas is the better one. Is one of my favorite ones. But I don't really like... I played Saints Row. I played one of the Saints Row. I thought it was stupid. So... I don't remember which one it was. It was like the Gat Out of Hell or whatever. Oh,
that was the DLC for the last one. So that was the expansion for 4. Yeah.
So whatever. Oh, I played 4, and then that one I didn't like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. San Andreas is your favorite GTA. Let's see here. Keanu says, do you have a favorite mini game over the Yakuza series? Like, what are your favorite little things to do?
Karaoke.
Really?
Yeah.
The karaoke. Cool. All right, there you go. Man, I don't even know. There's been so many different ones over the years.
Well, there's bowling too. That's fun.
That's true. Which one had bowling?
Kamurocho.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say because the recent ones didn't have it, but there's the batting cages.
Yeah.
There's the golf that's been in it.
Yeah.
There's the little mini car racing. And then sometimes they have like the commerce mini games and things that you have to do. You know what I'm thinking of? The new one, the rice cookies or whatever, the business you had to run. I was thinking about that one too. So, okay. Now this is interesting. Joe Mama says, "Do you like The Last of Us?" Now you can answer this from different perspectives, right? What do you think of The Last of Us?
Well, first of all, are we talking about the game or the show?
Let's talk about the game. I think is what we're talking about here.
Well, I mean, the first one, yes. I liked the first one a lot, just like most people. The first one was memorable, was a good experience. The second one was a disaster. I hated it. If we want to talk about the second one, but the first one I liked it. I did not like the second one, but I liked the first one.
Is there something you particularly liked about the first one that was different in the second one, and that's why you don't like it?
Oh, why do I like the first one better?
Yeah.
Well, the story's better. There's no pointless, immature stuff in there, like the second one had. More meaningful characters, more meaningful conversations with characters. Just the entirety of the game was better, you know.
For me, I think it's the tone is so different. The first game, even though the first game is dark because people die in it, right? And there's really this feeling of dread and the world's ending. There's this overall feeling of hope, love, right? How Joel becomes a loving father figure to Ellie during the game and stuff. And then you play the second game and it's like all of that's just thrown away.
Yeah.
Let's just destroy everything that you liked about the vibe of the first game in order to push a narrative. And it just didn't feel good. I want to play a game and feel good, right? I don't want to play I already feel misery. You already have enough real life miseries going on in your own life that when you play a game, you want to separate yourself from that. Why do you want to play a game to feel miserable? Right? You feel miserable when you play Last of Us 2.
You're just going through the whole town murdering people and torturing people, like, you know. And then the other half is picking up pictures of penises that you remember?
It's cartoon penises.
Yeah. It's like, how are you supposed to take a game like that seriously? You know? It's like, part of the game is that stupid comical crap.
Right.
And then the other part is just slitting people's throats open. Like, it's terrible. And then the characters are terrible. Like, Abby is not a likable character. Ellie is just a psychopath now.
She's changed completely from her character in the first game. That's right.
Joel's dead. So, I mean, what is there to like about the game? It's just not well
The graphics. The graphics were good.
I guess. I mean, the graphics. Yeah. But, I mean, that's about it, in my opinion.
This is where people have this big divide about Last of Us is, I don't think, even if you're talking objectively, right? You can't argue that The Last of Us, even as a series, has bad graphics. You can't argue that. The graphics are great, no matter what version you're playing. The gameplay elements, they're really good. The sneaking and each one, the second one actually had new gameplay elements from the first that innovated and made it feel good. The location, right? The first one and second one have distinct different locations that feel organic and interesting. But really what it comes down to is the narrative. It's a narrative-based game. And if you don't like the narrative, you're not going to like the game. We liked the narrative of the first one. We don't like the narrative of the second. We're not going to like the second one. And there's nothing that's going to change that. You know, even over time, your feeling of the narrative isn't going to change. It's the same story. They didn't rewrite the story, right? So there you go. Okay. Let's see here. Korg says, do you remember the first game you ever got a platinum trophy for, if you ever even got one? Did you ever platinum a game on PlayStation?
Think so.
No?
Because even now I don't care about that stuff.
You don't actively go for it.
No.
Right? If you get a trophy, it's fine, but you don't I was aiming for it or whatever. So you've never actually platinumed a game.
Right.
There you go. Have you ever watched shows like Survivor, Big Brother, or The Challenge? So those kind of reality shows.
No, not really. I'm not a big reality TV show. For the most part.
When we watch reality shows, we're talking about, like, first, we used to watch Forged in Fire, which is a competition show where they make swords and stuff like that.
I do like that one. Which is kind of nice.
We watched food competition shows, like some of the Gordon Ramsay stuff we've watched over the years and stuff like that.
I should say those are the ones that I like.
Right. But we don't go crazy. I'm not even exaggerating. I know some people might say I'm a liar. Even though I'm in my 40s, I've never seen a single episode of Survivor or Big Brother. Not one. And I have no plans to ever watch Survivor or Big Brother. I don't care about the show.
It's not. You know? I've seen one or two episodes like forever ago.
Yeah.
But not. Again, I'm not into it.
Yeah.
So
I've never seen one at all. So, okay. Let's see here. Would we ever? I mean, someone asked this last week too. Someone said, would we ever do like a react show together? And the thing is, again, we don't want to shoot anything down. Our goal is simple. Number one, to get Kat feeling at home and comfortable on streams again, right? Because she never really did. You were here only a few streams in 2018, and that was it. And then it's been so long. And to actually get into stuff together we want to do. I can tell you right now what we really want to do is Like a Dragon. We think that that would be a really great idea to play that virtual island game. Anything that comes after that is maybe, but we're not going to sit here and address every single possibility of what may happen. We don't know yet. We're not thinking about it, right? We're not talking about what's a react show we can do and what are we playing. When we're out of this office, literally, we're done talking about it, right? We don't even speak about it. You know, I asked you casually this week, did you want to come in here again? We're not we don't have a big business plan on our wall in our kitchen of content we're going to be doing this year, anything like that. It's not that serious, okay? Let's see here. See, here's the thing. So No Sleep Real Vibe says, do either of us ever watch Full House, Friends, or Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Did you ever watch those shows growing up?
Yeah, all of them.
All of them?
Yeah.
Me too. I mean, that was common stuff back then. That was like TGIF, right? It was called. It was just the sitcoms that were on every Friday night, and you would watch whatever was on. Honestly, I didn't even like half of them. I just watched them because they were on. I watched them with my parents, right? Like it was like a family night thing. You would just watch because it was on. So yeah, we both seen those. Do I have a favorite? I think that my favorite of all those was like the first one that started it, which no one remembers. It was called Perfect Strangers. Do you ever see Perfect Strangers?
No.
So it was this ultra like nerdy white guy, but his cousin, who's a sheep farmer from a foreign country, moves in with him. So it's kind of like an odd couple situation. And it's just the weirdest thing, but it's funny. And I just remember that was the first one that started it all. And then after that, all the other shows like Full House, Step by Step, Family Matters, all those shows started also moving into that block on Friday nights. So, okay. You know, I think... Oh, by the way, I missed this one. Jones to Bones, thank you. 28 months as a member. Thank you, Jones to Bones. He says, hope family night is great. Nice to meet Kat tonight. First time Jones to Bones has been on.
Oh,
so
okay.
Good to have you here. Thank you, Jones. Okay, you never saw Stranger Things on Netflix, did you? You never saw it? I did, and I thought the first couple of seasons were good. I've only seen the first 3 seasons. Yeah, the last season I saw was the one where they worked at the mall. And then I think there was another season after that, but we don't have Netflix, right?
No, we got rid of Netflix.
We got rid of it. I mean, we weren't actively watching it enough to keep it, so maybe one day I would get caught up with it, but I'm not really that interested in it anymore. So, okay. Oh my God. Cyrax the Rapper, your obsession with that guy, King Cobra, I don't know what your obsession is with that guy. I really don't. But I think I can assure you that Kat does not watch King Cobra JFS. I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure she's never watched his content or his snail burritos or anything like that. It's disgusting. Thanks for the super chat, though. Okay, I don't know what's up with that guy always asking about that particular person. I think what we're going to do, since we did have people who did ask questions in that thread, I think it's only fair that we check out that thread and see if people had some interesting questions to go over tonight. And then we'll jump back over here to you guys live in the chat. But there were some people who I knew couldn't be here tonight, and they had a few questions to ask, so we can just jump through a few of these. Okay. Ponage says, hey, Phil, Kat, and Jasper, I hope you're doing well. I have a question for Kat. Did you ever hear of the Shantae series, and did you ever play any of the games? If you haven't, it's a good game that I would suggest to try. It's called Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, one of my favorite games in the series. Have a good night. Did you ever see or play a Shantae game?
I've heard of it, but it's not up my alley.
No. You're not into like 2D platformers and stuff like that? Because that's exactly what it is. If I remember, I think it started, I want to say, in the 2000s, but they were always handhelds, right? Like they were always handheld games, and I wasn't into handhelds that heavily either, so I never played it, and you had never played it. Okay. Let's see here. Duke, thanks for this question. But again, questions like, what are the top 3 things you like about each other? What's a weird quirk that's over this about one? We're not that kind of couple. We're going to sit here and list stuff about each other and razz each other all night. All right, so I appreciate the question, but we're not going to go into that. Darth Fig, we already answered that. We're Kat's top games and disappointing games of last year. Her most disappointing game was Starfield, and your top game was Alan Wake 2, right? So there you go. Monty Mole, I'm just going to ignore that question. Again, it's another similar style question. Oh, here you go. Question for all 3. First of all, Jasper Kitty. What's wrong? He's squinting. Was he cleaning?
Yeah. He's
cleaning, so he's squinting. He must be itchy. Does Jasper want a Stray 2? What do you think? Does Jasper want Stray 2?
He does.
He does?
Yes.
Have you talked to him about this?
Yes.
Okay, and he said yes, he wants Stray 2.
Yes.
Remember, he was in here for a lot of that playthrough. He was in the room. I took pictures and everything. So for Phil, I don't know who that is. With the huge success of Street Fighter 6, how can other fighting franchises improve without copying the Street Fighter 6 formula? Provide enough content for a variety audience. Not everyone wants to be a competitive player. So if you put enough content in the game that a casual player likes the game, but also a competitive player would like the game, you've succeeded. And you have to have a good roster at launch, not 5 characters, but like tons, so there's variety. And you have to have good online play, which Street Fighter 6 had. That's my answer. So let's see. I don't even know. This is supposed to be for you, but I don't know how you're going to answer this one. Kat, why don't AAA development companies see what indie and AA devs are going to do to succeed and try their own hand? What does that even mean? I don't even understand the question. Do you?
Maybe they meant it for you.
No, it specifically says, Kat, why don't AAA companies see what indie AA devs are doing to succeed and try their own hand? Huh? No answer, because I don't know what they're talking about.
No.
Okay. We already answered the question about hobbies. Let's see here. Do you have any favorite movies or genres of movies over the years that you enjoy watching? Like, do you have a favorite movie or types of movies that you enjoy?
Trying to think. I mean, obviously, like I said, I like the fantasy style, like Lord of the Rings movies.
Right. You had said that last week, that Lord of the
Yes.
Rings is one of your favorite things of all time when it comes to cinema, basically.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, movies nowadays aren't very good. So
Okay.
I can't think of any like modern ones, but those are the ones that I like.
Okay. Geez, people just keep asking the same questions about hobbies and stuff. It's the same question over and over, so I'm just skipping it. Okay. So, Slayer, I think the answer here is you haven't seen it, but he says, I want to ask Kat, did you ever see any of the private reacts that I did for him? And do you have any thoughts about Singapore? Did you ever hear me talk about Singapore or anything like that? You've never watched any of the reacts that I did for Slayer, right? None of them. Because he posts them up on his channel publicly after the fact. But you've never seen them, right? I guess what he's asking is, like, did you ever see Singaporean food? Did you have any opinions? I've told you about some of the food that I saw in his videos, and it sounds interesting, right?
It does.
Like some of the street foods that I've seen, the Indian street food, or the Big Value. Remember, they're the home of the cheapest Michelin star dish of food you can get in the whole world.
That's
it's
what
the chicken
I was gonna
rice.
say. Yeah, you can get a good amount of food for
cheap.
For cheap.
You don't have to spend $100 on a dinner. You can spend like $10 and get a giant amount of gourmet food.
Yeah.
That's actually authentic and local, which is really neat.
Right.
That's some of the React videos. Excuse me, that I've done for Slayer recently was food videos. So, okay. So, all right. OP Boone asks, was there a game or genre of game that you previously you didn't think you were going to like, but I maybe convinced you to like or to try, maybe by watching me play it or something like that?
I'm thinking. Because I know there was one, but I can't think about what...
Oh, you can't remember what it was?
Yeah. Shoot.
Well, what I can think of is that I did a lot of those style of game where I call them choose your own adventure, but what it really is a narrative-based game where you make decisions, and based on your decision, there's different outcomes, right? So you've played a lot of the Life is Strange games.
Well, I played whatever
the latest one.
Yeah.
That's the one you played, and you ended up really liking it, even though you didn't think you were going to like it. You enjoyed it, because I told you I thought you would like it, and then you enjoyed it, right? And you had played a few others, too, right? What was it? The weird one with the decision, the heist was going on, remember? And people get shot and everything. I can't remember the name of it anymore.
Oh, that stupid, yeah, I can't remember the name of it. It was,
I can't remember the name of it either. Yeah.
It's the family that gets...
They get wrapped up in a heist at like at a gas station or something. Yeah. They're taking hostage. You played that. And you also played Tell Me Why, I think, right? That game about the kids that went to the hometown.
I hated that one.
You hated that one.
Yeah. That was...
So basically she played a whole bunch of those kind of choose your own adventure games, seeing me play them. Some she liked, some she didn't, but I think her favorite was the recent Life is Strange True Colors. That's what it's called. Life is Strange True Colors. There you go. So another one for you. Jasper, do not step on her because you're going to hurt her. Because she's not, you don't want to claw her.
There you go.
Okay. So basically, OP Boone says, I know that you used to have past experience with Overwatch. And now it seems like you play other games like Skyrim or Far Cry, Yakuza, Assassin's Creed. Do you ever get an itch to go back and play a multiplayer game again like that? Have you ever really thought, I want to go back and play it?
I mean, there's nothing. First of all, Overwatch definitely not, because it's just boring now. And Overwatch 2 is Overwatch 1. Like, it's not even different. So there's no interest. Like, it's you play that game so much, and it's just boring, especially when they didn't do anything to really improve it.
Right.
You know, it's just the same game. So, and of course, anything similar is just the same. You know, a lot of these multiplayer games are just the copy and paste of. You know, they're not unique or enough for me to be interested in them.
Okay. Okay, another one for you. So now you've lived here in Washington for 6 years? Well, I guess almost. We're almost at the 6-year mark now. When you moved here, did you experience any culture shock moments, any stark differences in the people or cuisines or climate or anything from where you came from that we were like, whoa, that's way different?
Well, yeah, I mean, first of all, the West Coast is way different from the East Coast. I mean, there's no Italian food here.
Yep.
There's no authentic Italian food here, which sucks. There's a lot of authentic Asian food here, which is good.
Yep.
But there's no Italian food, which you get on the East Coast all the time. Like I said, the weather is better because you don't get the giant snowstorms. You don't get the freezing temperatures.
Right. Moderate weather.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of rain, but I don't really care about that. I'd rather have rain than snow.
Right.
Yes, the people here are way different. The people here are extremely different. Very, like, I don't even know how to describe it without, you know, being offensive or whatever.
Well,
but, you know.
I mean, let's be honest. We live on the West Coast, and the West Coast, especially Washington State, is one of the most liberal states in the entire country.
Yeah.
Okay? Everyone here is heavy left-leaning, okay? And it's hard when you're not 100% in agreement with that lifestyle. Even me, and I'm middle of the road politically. I've told you guys. Now, we're not going to talk politics tonight at all. Don't worry about that. But unless you're like hyper in line with the people, a lot of the times you're like, what the heck? Like the way the people act and stuff. It's just so different. You know, out here, pot is fully legalized. You can just go to a store, a dispensary, and just buy weed. And you see people, you literally see people walking around smoking. You can smell it in the air all everywhere. It's like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Like, why is this so common here? You know, it's in other places, it's like completely forbidden in the United States.
Well,
it's weird.
It's a
right?
combination of many things because you have crime that is not under control, and then you have the legalization of marijuana on top of that, and then you have, you know, all these other things. Just it makes a bad situation.
And that's coming from, you know, a situation that wasn't like that. You know, and you move out here and it's like, and the other thing is it's changed. Like, even since I've lived here, when I started here 10 years ago, it was different, and I've just seen it progressively get more that direction over and over every year, to the point where now it's like when you first moved here, we went to Seattle, right? And we always thought we're gonna go back, right? We haven't gone back. We have no desire to go back because of how it's changed and how the people are out here. It's like,
well, it's not safe to go back. I mean, when we first went there, it was nice, and there still was like sketchy stuff there. You know? But now it's like if you
it's actually dangerous. It's legitimately dangerous.
Yeah,
there's crime everywhere out there. It's like businesses have moved out of Seattle.
Tons of them.
So, it's very different from where we come from. Now, here's the thing. Now, this is for both of us. I don't know if you're going to have an opinion on this. And honestly, I don't even know if this is the place for me to answer this question. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's see if you have an opinion on it. If not, it's okay. We can skip it.
Okay.
What are your opinions on recent influx of large content creators now stepping back and retiring? For example, Tom Scott, MatPat from Game Theory, Meat Canyon, Captain Sparkles, Germa, among many others. From a viewer's perspective and from a content creator's perspective. Do you even know any of those people?
Yeah, so I have seen videos pop up on my feed about them. Not that I watch any of those people. I don't, because I have no interest in them. But I have seen them randomly pop up being like, oh, I'm going away or something. And, you know, I just look at those things as like, it's not like a big deal to me. It's all, everything's a trend now. So it's like if one creator does something, a million other people have to do it. So it's like, okay, so this one guy is like not making content anymore. Why would I care? You know, I don't even watch these people, but all I know is that there's always some stupid trend going on where one content creator does something, then a million others have to follow suit, and there's no reason for it.
But just, you don't actively watch any of those people, so to you it's not a big deal.
I don't care. I don't. No, I'm not interested in it.
I don't actively watch any of them either. Now, from a content creator's perspective, it's completely different. But the thing is, I don't think this is the venue for me to talk. Like, this is something I would talk about on my own podcast, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to go into massive detail about this. All I'll say is this. Every name you mention is someone who's probably a million sub person,
Yep.
probably has been making money, insane amounts of money for an extended period of time,
Exactly.
to the point where they're in a position where they don't have to work anymore
Mm-hmm.
for the rest of their life. So they have the ability to say, I just want to go away and live out my life basically in peripheral retirement forever.
Right.
Because I made so much money, all I got to do is invest my money and I'm rich forever, right? That's something that's I'll never be. I'm considered, what do they call, like a blue collar YouTuber almost, right? Where I have to work every day. I have to put in hours. I'm not rich. I'm not famous. I'm not, you know what I mean? I will never be in that position. Then again, the thing is, I love what I do to the point where I like being on stream. I like hanging out with my audience. Do I want more time with my family? Yes, I do. I don't want to work 6 days a week full time. I would like to get to the point where I don't have to do that. But at the same time, these are people at such a different level from everyone else out there who's a working class content creator. You understand? They're just ginormous YouTubers who don't need to work anymore, so why would they? But does that say something about their passion? Maybe it does and maybe it doesn't. If you really had passion for what you were doing, would you ever want to step away from it? Or would you always want to have at least limited involvement? Some of these guys outright said, I'm just handing everything over to someone else and selling it off.
Yep.
It's like, so did you ever really have passion, or were you just doing it for a paycheck, right? I don't know. Then again, I don't know any of these people. You know, I don't know them. I don't watch their content. I think we've seen a couple Meat Canyon animations during the course of this last year on the React Show, and I haven't seen anyone else that you've even mentioned. I've never seen a single piece of their content. So I would like to more fully answer that at a better time. This is not the time. This is supposed to be us answering questions together, not me from my perspective. All right. So, the only last couple questions here. We already talked about horror movies. You don't really particularly like horror movies, so you don't really have a favorite old horror movie or anything like that from like the classics. And did you ever watch any of my old Cooking with the King videos back in the day, the old ones?
Like one. Maybe.
Oh, yeah. So you weren't a fan. You didn't watch them all or anything like that. Okay. Because I think some people had this weird mentality that you used to like watch all of my old content.
No.
Okay, so that's not the case. Cool. All right. So we've answered all those questions, and now what we're gonna do? It's gonna go 100 miles a minute here. We're gonna jump back. We're gonna get back to shout-outs. Guys, we've got less than a half an hour left on the stream, just so you know. We're gonna go till around 9 p.m. tonight, just so everybody knows. So let's do some more shout-outs on the tip side, then we'll get to the YouTube side, and then we'll get caught up with chat that's going a mile a minute to catch up here because we weren't looking at it. Okay. Let's take a look here. I'm just gonna ignore this stupid question about drama. I ignore all drama questions, so let's get rid of that. Let's see here. Oh, I don't think so, but someone did an anonymous $5 tip saying, do you have an accent? Do you have a slight accent, and what would you consider that it is if you do think you have one?
If I did, I don't know, because I don't know my own
Right. You
voice.
wouldn't notice your own accent,
Yeah.
right? Personally, I don't think she has one. But maybe you do. Maybe you think she does. I don't think she has an accent, but then again, I'm from Connecticut. So you guys tell me sometimes that you think I have an accent, right? So maybe that's what it is. Thank you for that. Let's see here. August with another $5 tip. He says, Philly Cat, I hope you've had a good night tonight. I hope that to be here before. I'm definitely will be here next week. I'm going for a vacation across the country with my girlfriend, so be safe. Well, I don't know if we're doing this again next week or not. You know, this is not something that we've committed to doing every week. We may or may not. Again, this is more, you know, how you feel. If you like doing this, if you want to do it once a week, we don't have to do it once a week. Perhaps the next time would actually be when Like a Dragon comes out and we do that island mode. But the thing is, we don't know the extent of, like, how do you unlock it? How do you get the content in it? How early in the game do you get to it, right?
Yeah, that's true.
We don't know that. So maybe it's not till, like, you're 15, 20 hours in. You know what I mean? I don't know. I guess we have to find that out when the game comes out and go from there. But we'll see. You know, what happens. We may or may not do another one next week. Okay, I got a tip here. Let's see. Okay, so from Neutron, $1.17 tip says, particularly in your lifetime, would you consider yourself a healthy eater, or did you actually start to eat more healthy once you guys kind of got together and started making meals together? Were you always like health conscious about the meals that you make, or did you become more health conscious when you were out here?
I grew up that way, eating healthy. So I think my whole life has been at least trying to, you know.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, honestly, the meals you make are way healthier than the stuff that I was eating before.
Right.
Like, really, the stuff we eat is way better than pasta, heavy cheese and shit that I was used to eating. And, our diet in general is just a lot better. By the way, almost no red meat, right?
Well,
Which is a huge thing.
Yeah, we try to pick, like chicken and turkey instead of, beef, because it's less fat.
Very low fat meats.
Yeah.
That are better for you overall, which is great, right? Okay. So it looks like Give Me Balance had done a super chat. £5. Thank you for giving me balance. Says, with the next Fallout and Elder Scrolls games, do you think they're going to be as disappointing as Starfield was? Wow. What do you think? Do you have any faith left in Bethesda at this point?
I don't even know if I should say anything on that.
Is that bad, huh?
Well, I mean, there's a tiny shred of, hope in me that it could be good, but I'm not even gonna get it. As much as I'm excited for Elder Scrolls 6, I don't want to get hyped up like I did for Starfield. Even though I know Starfield was a new IP and all that stuff, but it's just Starfield was so bad that, I mean, it's not even that it was just okay or it was a little bit bad. It was terrible.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to have faith in them at this point.
In my opinion, the problem with Starfield was Bethesda's chance to show that they could rebound from bad projects. Fallout 4 wasn't bad, but it also was not as well received as Fallout 3 or New Vegas. So people were like, oh man, did they lose their way? Their next project immediately out of the gates is Fallout 76, and that's a flop, right? That's a huge failure at launch. It took them years and years for it to even become functional and to build a community. So after 2 mistakes, right, the next thing immediately after that is let's do something to knock it out of the park, right? And just, boom, make it so amazing. And what did they come out with? A game that I think the best way to describe it is mid-milquetoast, right? There's nothing special about it. It's boring. It's the same paint by numbers. We really dialed it in this time, guys. We used the same formula. We didn't even do anything new. And when we tried something new, it didn't work or was so extra that you didn't need it in the game. It's just a huge disappointment. So when this next one comes out, do I have faith that it's going to be good? No. Honestly, the next game Bethesda comes out with, I'm going to be more skeptical. I'm going to be analyzing that game for things that are good, that stand out, that they're going to do right rather than fail. And that with Starfield, I was more optimistic, and now I just don't feel that optimism anymore. They kind of blew it, right? Okay. All right, guys, we are winding up. We got about maybe 20 minutes left on the stream, so I would say this is your last chance if you'd like to get some questions in. Please tag us in the chat. We're going back now to the open questions in the chat room for the finale here tonight, okay? Andy, we already answered that question about visiting foreign countries tonight. We already said maybe Japan number 1 and then maybe Europe in the future, but we have no idea if we'll ever be able to do that. Vietnamese Comrade says, do you play Call of Duty, and how do you feel about the franchise in general?
I do not. I don't play it.
You don't play it. Do you like it? Do you have any feelings about it?
Nope.
No, none at all.
Nope.
Okay.
It's an overhyped generic shooter, so.
There you go. Spidey 5000 says, Kat, who is your favorite character in Lord of the Rings? His is Samwise.
Oh, Samwise. I like Samwise.
Your favorite
That's
character.
A tough one.
Or do you have a group of favorites?
Because I like so many of them.
So just who are some of your favorites? Just name off the ones you like. You don't have to be the favorite, like, overall. Just who are some of the characters you really like? Things about them in the franchise, right?
Gandalf.
Why do you like Gandalf?
I don't know. I like them all. It's hard to.
All right. Well, forget it then. We don't have to. I'm just saying.
I mean, they're all good. Like, every single character is good in their own way. Like, they're all good in their own way.
But, okay, how about this? I think one of the things that's great about Lord of the Rings is that even though you have such a cast of characters, and even though you even have 4 hobbits, every one of them stands out individually, right? Like, you can think about each one. You can think about Merry, Pippin, Frodo, Sam, Gandalf, Legolas, Gimli, Aragorn, and they all have iconic things about each one of them because they each have an involved backstory, cool cultural stuff about each one. None of them are boring. None of them are copies of each other, right?
I like Legolas.
You like the elf Legolas?
Yes, because that's the build I would play in like a fantasy, like Skyrim.
A ranger style, or not ranger, like a archer, agile style.
Yeah.
Get him from afar, perfect shot kind of stuff.
I would say he's one of my top because of that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Someone had said it scrolled off the screen. I just caught it at the tip of my eye there. In general, how do you feel about the Persona series? Do you like the Persona game franchise?
I played 4 and 5. I liked them both, but I liked the story of 4 better than 5 because it's a murder mystery.
Would you play a future Persona game if it came out? Would you be interested in playing a new one?
I would try it.
Did you? Oh, what about that new one that the makers of Persona are making, but it's fantasy, not modern? Did you see that?
I mean,
I forgot what the name of it is.
I know, I forgot it too. See, I don't really like weeb style games that much. But I did like I said, I did like Persona 4 because of the story, and I would try that new game that whatever it's called, but I'm not crazy. Like, I don't like anime. I don't like the anime style games, the weeb stuff.
But the funniest part is when you played some of those, you liked them.
Yeah.
It's not that you're prejudiced against them. You just don't have an affinity for them.
Right. There's so many of them, too. It's just like...
Here's the thing. I'm similar, but I'm similar in the realm of fighting games, okay? It's not that I don't like Guilty Gear or Blaze Blue. I just don't have an affinity for that art style or that cultural style. Yeah. So if you ask me, would you rather play Tekken, Street Fighter, or Guilty Gear, I'm going to say I'll play Street Fighter, Tekken, Guilty Gear in that order, right? Like, that's my affinity. So it's not that we don't like the games because they're bad games. It's that there's just things you don't have a real affinity for. Right. And that art style to me is like, I've seen it a million times. I've seen a million games, a million shows, a million movies. They all look the same, right?
It becomes very generic.
It doesn't stand out anymore.
Right.
Right? There you go. Okay, let's see here. Let's take a look here. I believe we got another tip. So, Anso Kamaru to the $1.50 says, similarly to Kat, I am a self-taught cook. I actually specialize in Chinese and Asian cuisine. My girlfriend is actually Chinese. Is there a particular person that you base your recipes on, or do you just go like random Google searches? Personally, I get most of my recipes from Instagram.
Oh, Instagram's a good, it's got a lot of recipes on there. I watch a lot of YouTube videos, so I pick up things from there. I mean, I don't always actively search for recipes, but I like to watch, like different chefs, react. Like, I like those chefs react and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I learn a lot about like cooking from that. Okay. So
cool. If you guys are wondering why it looks like I just grew a foot, it's because I'm trying to stretch my back out. This stool is about to decompose under my ass here. Not meant for this long of sitting. We definitely got to get something better, hopefully tomorrow. All right, another tip came in here. A $2 tip from August. I want to give a thank you to the mods. You are appreciated tonight. Take pride in yourselves for what you did. Yeah, I mean, there's an incredible amount of trolls. Personally, I caught some of them myself, but the mod team here did a good job tonight of trying to catch that too, and I appreciate any mods that were here helping out tonight. As usual, the trolls will always come out in force for certain particular nights. Let's see here. We already answered that. Walmart walnuts. We already said her favorite recipes are her baked chicken recipe and also her Japanese curry, so we don't need to reiterate that. Andy is wondering, are you into superheroes at all? I know the answer, but they might want to hear the answer from you. Are you into superheroes or anything like that? No.
Not anymore.
Is there a reason why you don't like superhero stuff?
Extremely oversaturation. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's obvious. There's freaking too many Marvel movies. It's too much. It just makes you not want to like it anymore. Right. Even if you did, I was never like really into superheroes before it became like, took over everything. Yeah. But now that it
became so prominent.
Yeah. It's just like too many, and it's just like it's the movies are boring now. They're incredibly. I mean, I guess I understand there's some people who really like them, and that's fine. But you know.
Yeah, but you know what? Not even as much anymore, because look at the box office results from the last 2 years. The Marvel movies are not doing that good anymore.
Well,
they're failing.
Depending,
you know?
I mean, yeah.
Most of them have not done well. There's very few. Maybe the Spider-Man movie did good, and the Guardians of the Galaxy did good, but the other 5 Marvel movies all tanked, in a row too. So I think there's something to be said there. There's just way oversaturation. They overflooded the market. They thought there would be way more demand, than there really is at this point.
Yep.
I think when that you've overflooded the market, when you're asking yourself, which version of the Suicide Squad is your favorite? What?
Yeah, I know.
Why are there multiple versions of the Suicide Squad to begin with? What the fuck are you talking about, right? You're out of your mind. So, okay. Now, see again, Eva Cowboy fan asking, do you have any kind of a favorite TV show? Did you ever think about watching Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul and stuff like that? We haven't really been into like a big narrative-based show, right? Like very rarely have we watched a show that's narrative-based and we watch consistently. So, I mean, I don't even know like if you ever had a favorite show over time or anything, right?
Right.
Okay. Let's see here. Boomkit, I don't know what you mean. Any games you guys disagree on quality-wise, what does that mean? Do you mean that we disagree on the quality, like our opinion on the game? I don't understand what you're saying with that. if you can elaborate. Excuse me. I've already talked about our days off, and we don't have like date nights per se because we don't have time. Our day off is just us running around doing a lot of errands and stuff, right? And so because of that, do we do stuff together that we like to do, like, watch a show, have a drink, order in or go out to dinner? Yes, we do that. But we don't have scheduled date nights or dates like that because we kind of have to squeeze it in between everything else that we do on our day off. You know what I mean? So, okay. All right. At this point, I would say we are definitely winding down with the questions. I see a lot of repeat questions. At this point, and I think people are just kind of harping on the same stuff. I don't want to sit here and repeat. So unless we get a few more original questions in the next few minutes, we're probably going to wrap it up and call it a night. No, Tubs is saying, are you going to check out the new Pokemon-inspired game Pal World? It looks fun on Game Pass. Did you even hear about that? I don't even know what he's talking about.
No.
I don't even know what that is. Do you have a particular game that you thought was incredibly funny and made you laugh out loud the most?
Goat Simulator 3.
Oh my god, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That game had a ton of funny stuff in it.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole game is a joke, right? Like, it's not a serious game at all. The whole setup of the game and every little mini game you're doing in it is meant to be a funny reference to something or something, right? So, okay.
Right.
Seeing ridiculous stuff. No, we're not gonna. We have no plans to play Mario Party. Tubs is saying it's Pokemon with guns.
Oh.
Play Pokemon with guns shooting things. Okay. Michael is wondering, how do you feel about the direction God of War is going? Do you think this is a good direction, the way that the series
definitely.
is going?
I mean, the original ones were stupid. Like, it was a lot... Oh, well, the narrative was stupid with the immature stuff. Like, in the original ones. It's much more serious now, with Kratos and Atreus and their stories, and it's much better, in my opinion.
No, and that's funny, because that's exactly what the point was. The original trilogy was supposed to be how Kratos became a god and was completely unchecked, right? He had no maturity, no intelligence, just rage. Everything he does is rage and gore and just no control at all. And look what happens. He kills all the gods and everything gets messed up.
Right.
These last 2 games were about him becoming older, becoming more self-aware, becoming more mature, being a father, changing who he is, but then also having to live down the sins of his past, of his previous life. So, I agree. I think that the modern games are much, much, much better than the old games were. So, okay. Have you ever been outside of America at all?
No.
Okay. Only in the contiguous United States? That's it? Okay. Sarah thinks that Kratos' story arc reminds her of my story, of how I've grown and changed.
Yeah.
There you go.
There's commonality there.
I just didn't kill anyone. That's the thing. I didn't murder anyone along the way. But, all right, Derek, you have a good night. All right, guys, last few minutes here, last few questions. Please tag us. Last chance to get something answered tonight. Brawl Bomber, we already answered that question about our favorite Yakuza game. We're not going to answer it again. Sorry. Did we watch You did not watch Invincible. I only saw part of Season 1 of Invincible and never saw Season 2, and I'm not really interested in it at this point. Do you even remember the characters from Persona 4?
I don't. It was so long ago.
It was ages ago, like 3-4 years ago,
Yeah,
I think,
don't
right?
know. I remember their names or anything.
Yeah. Do you like Indian food?
Yeah, I love Indian food.
What's your... Okay, since this would be a follow-up question, I'm sure someone will ask, what's some of your favorite things in Indian food?
Chicken tikka masala. Like, any kind of curry that has chicken or lamb. I tried the goat, but I didn't really like the goat that much.
It has a unique flavor to it, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But, yeah.
Cool. Let's see here. No, we have no plans to get Jasper a cat buddy. We've already talked about it. He's the kind of cat that wants to be the center of attention at all times. If there was another cat in the house to draw attention away, he would literally be upset and it would cause him to act out in a destructive manner. So we don't want to put him in that position. He's literally not that kind of... He wants to be the pet. So that's how we treat him. Okay. Do you prefer Xbox, Nintendo, or PlayStation, or does it not matter?
Doesn't matter.
Ah.
I don't take sides.
There you go. You're not an Xbox, Sony pony, or a Nintendork. I don't even know what they're called. I don't know.
Something.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, right now, the Series S is what I've been playing on the most.
For the last year.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that's amazing. It's a great console.
There you go. Okay. It's a Nintendrone. I thought it was Nintendork. I apologize. It's Nintendrone. It's equally insulting, just in a different way. Okay. Whoa. I guess this will be a bunch of tips came in out of nowhere all together. So I guess this will probably be our last few questions we'll answer of the night. A $10 tip just came in. What on earth? So Rick Perez did a $10 tip. He says, YouTube's algorithm is now favoring longer videos and compilations. Would you consider making a full playthrough video for DSP Throwback, like one of your shorter games from the... So what you're saying is an entire game in one video? I'm not so sure about that. At one point, that was true. And that was many years ago where they changed the algorithm that the longer your video, it literally would push it to the top. Now I think it's based on overall engagement. And if you have a 5-hour video, what are the chances that someone's going to watch the entire video? Probably slim. So in reality, I think that would create low engagement, and that would hurt the video. I understand what you're saying, but I don't think there's evidence of what you're saying. Like, at one point, I think that was the case, but I don't think that's the case anymore. So, thank you for the tip. I got a $2 tip here from Slie. Do we see any mountains when we're out in Washington? I visited Colorado. The Rockies are beautiful. Yes, there is the Mount Rainier out here. And when we drive certain places, you can actually see Mount Rainier right there on the horizon. Beautiful. On a clear day, you can see it with the snow cap and everything. And it's really, really gorgeous. But it's only from certain directions and certain ways that you go. So you can't always actively see it. It's beautiful, though. And we got a $2 tip from Little Jimmy. Did you ever watch anything from PBS? Do you remember shows like Barney or Sesame Street or any of those shows growing up?
Yes.
And did you watch them?
Uh-huh.
Which one? I know you said you would watch Sesame Street, right? Oh, you did watch Barney?
Yeah.
See, for me, I'm trying to remember. I think it was Sesame Street, because Sesame Street's been around forever, like since like the 1970s, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, there's probably like 4 or 5 generations of people who've seen Sesame Street as a kid.
Barney was like the 90s, I think.
Probably the 90s, right? Yeah. See, I know I watched Sesame Street, and I know I watched some other weird stuff, like Romper Room and Zoobledy Zoo and like weird shit that used to be on TV.
Did you watch Lamb Chop?
I saw Lamb Chop, but it wasn't what I would watch. You know what I mean? Like, I knew of it.
Yeah.
But that was like right after I would have watched that style of show. Like, I was getting into more my younger youth years, where I was like X-Men and, violent stuff. So I'm not watching Lamb Chop anymore, right?
Yeah.
But I knew it existed. What's up, Dark Maggot? Good evening. Good to have you here. And as we're wrapping up, because now, guys, we are down to the last 5 minutes, FYI. Last few questions of the night. Thank you all. You've been a great audience. You've been respectful for the most part. And thank you to the mod team who kept stuff under control tonight. We really appreciate that. And we'll get back to you about in the next week when we think we're going to do something like this again. I don't know when the next one would be. Hopefully, when we do, we will have a better stool because my ass is killing me right now. Yes, Vietnamese comrade, we do like Vietnamese food. Like banh mi and pho. I've had a banh mi sandwich, but I got the wrong one. I got tuna, and it was a bad protein to have in the sandwich. I should have got like pork or something.
Yeah.
I blame myself, but we've both had pho soup, and we like the pho. We think it's delicious. So.
It does depend what meat you get in it, though, in the pho.
That's true, because you can get tons. You can get meatballs, you can get spare ribs, you can get a whole shank of, meat. You could get steak, you can get chicken. You get a million proteins in there, and it makes it taste completely different, right? Okay. Yeah, Dark Maggot, we're at the end. This is it, man. We're about to sign off. He says, dang it, I missed it. Hey, you can rewind it, though, right? And we're going to upload, too. We're going to upload the 2 parts right after we're done here, so... Did you ever play a Metal Gear Solid game at all? Ever?
I played 5.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
See, I didn't even know that. You played Metal Gear Solid 5. What did you think of 5?
Well, it was the first one I played, so it's a challenging game for sure. But it was different from most other games I've played.
You never really been into a heavy stealth game at that point.
Right.
Okay.
And that was like forever ago. What year did that come out? I don't even remember.
A long time ago. I would say 2016? Something like that.
Yeah.
2015, 20. It's old at this point.
Yeah.
It's pretty old. So. Let's see here. We already said she's not into horror movies. You can stop asking about The Exorcist. I just show people just don't listen and they just spam the same questions over and over. Yeah, Tub Tubs, one thing we've never had is Korean barbecue. There are 1 or 2 Korean barbecue places out here, but they're really catered towards group eating together because what you do is you cook your meal there together, right? It's like a social aspect. You get 5-6 people together all cooking on the it's not really something 2 people would go do. Nor, I think we've agreed here, when we go out to eat, typically we don't want to have to cook our own food. You know what I mean? We're out, we've done a million errands, we just want to sit down and relax and eat. It's hard to do that when you have to sit there and cook your food there. So it's not something we've ever really tried. I've heard it's delicious though. So okay. All right, guys. I think that's it. It's about to be 9 o'clock. I think that's a good time to stop at this point. Again, want to say thank you. You guys are amazing. The support tonight, outstanding. Really awesome of you to come out and hang out with us for this family night, and we hope that you enjoyed the Q&A. Again, don't know when we'll do it again. Could we do it next week? We could, but we're not going to say yes or no. We'll talk about it over the week. We will absolutely be doing nights where we're going to play Like a Dragon together coming up once it comes out in a little over a week. We have to see how that mode is implemented in the game to figure that out, but we don't know yet, right? So once we figure that out, we'll let you know. Hey, we'll come maybe once a week, maybe twice a week. It depends too, our scheduling too, of how we can do it. But we definitely want to do that. We want to do that mode with you guys and have this virtual island. That's our family event that we kind of do. I think that would be pretty neat. All right, everybody. All right. Any last thoughts or last words for anyone before we adjourn for the night? Anything you want to say, or did you have a good time tonight?
Yeah.
Overall, it was good. All right. And again, thank you to the mods. We know the mods have been here kind of silent, helping. The trolls always come out for this crap, and they did a really good job. Definitely, one thing we've done this twice in a row, 2 weeks in a row. You see the difference now before how it was with Twitch, right? You see how it's way different. It's more controllable on YouTube. On Twitch, these people would come in with constant accounts and shit, and you couldn't stop it. Yeah. Now it's way more controllable, thankfully. So, I think this is going to work out long term to have nights like this, but also gameplay nights where we're able to keep it under wraps. So, all right, everyone. Thank you all. Great show. And I'll keep you in the loop over the next week or so about when you can expect to see us on here again next. All right, thanks, guys. Have a good night, and peace out. Thank you.